Well, good morning, everyone. So I hope you guys had a good night like I did. Slept real well. Had a little bit of a shower storm come through last night and rained just a little bit. Other than that, it was quite quiet actually, and really enjoyed the spot. So I got up, had some breakfast this morning. As far as our plans for today, just continuing down the trail. It looks like we probably have about almost 100 miles before we get to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Or we won't be necessarily at Chattanooga, but we'll be, I don't know, maybe 10 to 20 miles within distance of Chattanooga. But the next destination is actually Jasper, Tennessee, which is on the way, and we'll be passing Chattanooga while we go there. So yeah, that's the plan for today. Just continue down the road and I'll let you guys know if anything happens. So I just had something interesting happen to me. I was going down the road and I heard ting, ting, ting. I was like, great, what's that? And I pull over and look, because it kind of sounded like a wheel hub, right? And I look, and almost every single lug on this back wheel is loose. So I'm glad I called it now, rather than it coming and vibrating all the way off going down the road. So now, got all my tools out. I'm going to jack up the rear, retighten those down to spec, and hopefully that solves it. All right, so I went ahead and jacked up the rear, got our lug nuts tightened back down. I'm gonna go back down the road to see if I can find our hubcap. If not, not a big deal. I got a spare. If none, not a big deal either. However, one thing that did warrant some further investigation was when I had it up, I was spinning both wheels, or spinning this tire, which spun the axle, and there was like this unusual sound from the rear diff. It was like not really clunking. It sounded like the teeth were meshing together. I don't remember when I've had this up before if it sounded like that or not. I checked the differential fluid. I just changed it before I went on my trip, of course, and it's still good condition. I was thinking maybe it got some water in it, right? When I did some river crossings, you know. I don't know. That's something to keep an eye on. I'm gonna go back up the road and look for that hubcap, because I think I know where it fell off. Also, I need to go by an auto store and pick up a torque wrench, so I can torque these down to the correct, make sure they're correctly torqued every time I get out or each day before I start going. So, all right, let's go do that. All right, went and looked and had no luck finding the hubcap. So with some searching, I was able to find a shop that actually sold a torque wrench. Most of the places just had those cheaper ones, and it's best to buy the best you can get at the time when it comes to tools. So I got a pretty good quality one. No, nothing super special, but something I can use every day and not worry about it breaking. As well as I went ahead and cleaned up a few things, made sure all my wheel lugs were torqued down correctly. A couple of them were not. They have loosened themselves. So went around and made sure everything was torqued correctly. So that's going to be I'm not sure if it's going to be a daily habit or every other day, just depending on what kind of roads we're riding on. But that was kind of a close call earlier this morning with almost losing a wheel. So yeah, that's something you don't want to happen. As far as the differential goes, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't hear it when I'm driving. I just think when it's up in the air and you're spinning it by hand, you just hear the gears engaging. So I think we're good on that. And finally, we can start heading back and getting on the trail and continuing down the road. So I've been driving for, I don't know, a few minutes now, probably 10 plus minutes, something like that. And I have to say, I feel much better about everything now. I can just kind of breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that all my wheel lugs are correctly torqued, and that just makes me feel better about it. So that means we can press on that much better. So I'm just driving up the mountain, following the roads, of course, on the GPS, and at the top of the mountain, I find this. something for some lunch here just a minute ago. I stopped at a local place called Colty's Barbecue. It's over here in Georgia, interstate or highway 136 with a cross of Hinckley Road. You drive right by it when you're on the trail. So I decided to stop there and give it a try. A lot of the locals said it was really great. So yeah, I got some barbecue plate. Turned out it was actually really good. I enjoyed the place for passing through, looking for some barbecue. There's a good place to stop. Been cruising down these back roads for a while now. We've had a lot of good pavement to ride on. If this keeps it up like this, we'll be able to get some real miles now. Seems like it's going to rain hard enough to actually wash off some dirt and grime on our vehicle. It was starting to get pretty dirty. I had to stop and show you guys. We were just coming from that direction. You can tell it's pouring the rain. But then we come to this intersection. Here's this massive lake. So I made it over here to Jasper, Tennessee. We're gonna go ahead and stop and get some gas. I see a grocery store, so we're gonna run by there and grab anything we need. The next stop after this will be Monteagle, Tennessee, if I remember correctly. Just about to get back on the chat again, and just here in town, there's a bunch of goats running around. Well, you don't see that every day. So I made it over here to Monteagle, just past a small airport, middle of nowhere, which is kind of interesting. There's nothing really too much to see around here from what I can tell so far. Take back what I said just a minute ago. I found this little town called Sewanee, S-E-W-A-N-E-E. I believe that's how you say it. It's a cool little town. I mean, it's like super small, but it kind of looks like an interesting place. So I've been rolling down the road for quite a while now. It's rolling on about 5 o'clock. Nowhere to camp so far. I looked on the map. Doesn't look like any forest, national forest around here. Or checked a couple of different apps to see about camping, and they were a pretty good ways away for camping as well. So I've been looking around trying to find somewhere to camp for the night, and there isn't many choices for campgrounds. There was a lake about 30 minutes ago that I had seen, and not seen the lake, but I had seen online that they had camping. Right, but it's kind of off the trail and had to drive to it. But I was like, you know, I'll find something continuing down the road. Well, it's been 30 minutes later. I look and there's no campgrounds around, right? The closest ones are either closed or like half an hour away or more, and then wrong directions. And I looked, and the state park where the lake was has plenty of camping. I called them, but they're a 50-minute drive now, 50 minutes in the wrong direction. So do I drive 50 minutes the wrong way just to get up there at like 6 o'clock, right? Which is more like 7 o'clock for me because we're in a new time zone. That's why it still looks so daylight out. So it means I'm pretty tired. Or do we keep driving on the trail and hope we find something else? If it was like 30 minutes, I would probably have done it. I should have went with my gut instinct, which was to go there in the first place. Because now I'm gonna have to continue driving until we find something to camp at. Oh, word of advice, if you're out traveling and trying to find a camp spot, go with what your gut says. I should have went with what my gut said. It was even though it was just a little bit of a drive away from the trail, I probably would have been sitting next to this really awesome lake with a good view, and resting right now. Well, guess what, guys? I decided to go ahead and make the 50-minute drive over to the campground I was talking about, just in order to have a good place to camp for the night. It's actually a really nice place. It's got the lake here, plenty of camping, plenty of room for everybody, especially if you got RVs and all that fun stuff. But yeah, it was a long drive today. Not something I want to do all the time. So I think tomorrow we'll pick it back up. We'll take the fast way back down to the trail, get some gas before we get back on. That's pretty much it. Gonna enjoy the rest of the afternoon, go eat some dinner. So you guys have a good one. Remember to like and subscribe.